qualify for the major trophy at the end of the season. First and second will automatically qualify. The remaining four will play off. And the teams we're seeing today, Carpentras and Avignon, not among the favourites at this early stage, although Alec, Carpentras didn't have a bad season in the lower divisions last season. They played pretty well, opened a few eyes.
No, both Carpentras and Avignon were a little bit disappointed not to be in the big division. I know there was one or two little bits of feeling going about, and there is a problem now that these two are back in the division where they belong, and they're going out there to try to do themselves proud.
Well, of course, Saint-Estève and the Carcassonnes of this world and the Tres Catalans, they're the ones that were getting the headlines last season. But it's nice to see, as we saw last season on screen, sides like Piat and Carpentras coming to the good and beating the top sides.
Yes, and at the end of the day, they was making the big boys really sit up and take notice. It's one of them games now where I think the switching of players in France, the Australians moving about from club to club, is making one club a little bit stronger one year, and it's good for the game, and I think they've got the right idea at last.
Monsieur Le Geziec, a familiar official here in France, takes charge. Fine sunny afternoon in southern France. Typical southern France day. Plenty of sunshine, but a nice cooling breeze. And we have Carpentras in the red strip, Avignon in the blue and white strip. Could be a good game. Carpentras showed last season their side like to play in typical French style, like to throw the ball about. Alec, I would think on their own ground, the Stade La Roseraie, they'll be hard to beat and probably excite the crowd a little.
Yes, I think home ground is a big advantage, and lovely summer's day here. It's nice to be back with screen sport and French rugby, and I think we're in for a cracking season.
Yes, and just another comment on the 12-team first division. It includes, Alec, a French side, of course, first one for many years, a Châtillon, a suburb of Paris. It's nice to see Paris back in French Rugby League.
Well, yes, it is, and also they're trying to spread the game a little, bringing teams in from Paris, because, as you know, the rugby union's a stronghold around that area, but it's good to see.
It's rather like, almost like Fulham or London Crusaders in the British game. It's getting out from the south of France stronghold and trying to get into development and missionary areas. Well, already at the start of this game, we have a penalty to Avignon, dished out by Monsieur Le Geziec. Tremendous thigh bandage there. It's amazing how many players nowadays do turn out. They look as if they're cropped with these bandages, Alec.
Well, I think it's a new innovation, everything from Australia. The more padding they have, I think it tends to think it makes them better players. I don't think it does, but they seem to like it.
Touch judge marking the spot, and a drive by Keyville for Avignon. Good crowd. Good shirt-sleeve crowd enjoying the warm sunshine. And again, Monsieur Le Geziec spots an offence by Carpentras. A little keen at the start, the Carpentras side.
Well, I think now there's a rule in rugby league throughout the world. It's not just in France and anymore. It's throughout the world, Australia and Great Britain. You must get up and let the man play the ball. And if you know in France, they're not keen on that. And I think we could have a lot of penalties in this game.
A good drive up the 22-metre. The other law we'll have to watch out for, of course, is ball stealing in England. Of course, they're very hard on that one at the moment, the ball stealing law. But it's a kick ahead by, this could be an opening try. That's a good pickup and a glorious tackle by Guston, and that's a try-saving one. But will it save a try? Because the penalty is the other way. A little bit of mouth.
Well, I can't believe that Guston has actually spoken to the referee. He picked the ball up. I think the referee obviously must have said you're offside, and he's disagreed with that, and it's cost him a penalty.
Not very well kicked though. Bidon picks it up for Avignon. Acting half-back is Guidicelli. And a big drive by the familiar figure of Boutignol. Could start this by Avignon.
Well, it looks as though Avignon obviously have got a strong pack of forwards. They look as though they want to play up the middle, and you know, it's very unusual for not to bring the French backs into the game, and that looks a little bit high to me.
And the referee, Monsieur Le Geziec, saying yes, indeed. At first I thought he was patting his chest or his shoulder, but then he decided it was a penalty.
Well, I think the tattle was a little bit high. I know the man was going down at the time, but you must keep the tattle below, below the shoulders, and that's what you've got to try to do. Whether you can do it or not is another matter.
So a chance for first blood to Avignon. Well, they've been attacking right from the start. And it's Keyville. Or is it Agrove? I think it's actually Agrove who's taking the kick. And it's a good one, and it's Avignon 2-0 with a penalty. A pretty simple one. I think he took it fairly confidently.
Well, that was a very important start for Avignon. As you see now, he's around the corner kicker, not too much of around the corner kicker, but he strikes the ball well, places it well, and that's 2 points on the board. Good start.
Well deserved after a continuous attack during the first 10 minutes of the game. Carpentras. Nice bright red jerseys. Move started by Shishitano, who's played international rugby league.
And I think that's another penalty, and obviously this time for Avignon, not retiring back the 5 metres. It's very important that this referee is going to play to the rule book, and he's going to say, if you don't let me referee it, I'll penalise you.
And it's again one of the Australians that make such a happy living over here. It's McTighe who's taking it.
Well, if this McTighe was McTighe's as good as the McTighe that used to play for Great Britain, Brian McTighe, I think what a find he'd have there.
He's not quite as big as Brian McTighe, I think, Alec.
No, and if you notice, Keith, he's the correct way to kick goals. He's kicking it toe first, and
that's it. That's 2-2. So McTighe, a penalty goal, and it's Carpentras 2, Avignon 2.
And last year we had a problem with the goal kicking, but not this year. It must obviously, through the close season, all the sides have been practicing the goal kicking, and it could be very important to the end of the season.
The kick deep out, under pressure. Still waiting for our first try, but we have had the 2 penalty goals. And Avignon, after that bright start, Carpentras beginning to tackle them a little bit out of the game. That's a good tackle by the skullcap Sheridan, yet another of the Australian fraternity in French Rugby League. Good solid tackling by Carpentras.
I think the difference, Keith, obviously, again, that Avignon have controlled the ball in these early stages. You know, they've had all the ball, and they seem to know what to do with it when they've got it.
That's a very good kick. Oh, dear me. Good job he went back. That's Guston. Made a try-saving tackle early on, but looked a little unsteady at first, Guston. Tig and Maguire, a familiar face here in French Rugby League.
I was reading in one of the papers that Carpentras will be looking for big things from Mr. Maguire. He's a very, very experienced player, and they're looking for him to lead him along and bring some of the younger players on.
Yes, he's played at higher level in the pool of aces, and he'll bring that experience to the Carpentras side. That's de Macedo. Again, it's Avignon. Coutinho, plenty of experience there in the front row.
And again, we see Avignon using this kick to good effect, and this could be the first try.
It wasn't a bad mistake, and that's Guston, who's looked very unsteady under the kicks. That time it squirmed away from his grasp, and it brings the first try of the match.
And you can see here the bad mistake here by Carpentras, and Avignon quick to seed it, and Guston picks the ball up. He can't believe his luck, and this is the first try of the French season on Screen Sport.
Well, the man who actually went over in the corner, Chiron, pretty poor kick. You were talking about good kicks. I don't think that goes down. And in the classification of a good kick.
No, I think they've changed goal kickers again, and this is what they tend to do in France. They've normally took the goal kicker and changed him from the last one.
Penalty yet again to Avignon. Not a good kick by Boutignon, that one. But 6-2 to Avignon, they lead.
I think Avignon will be very, very pleased with the way they've started. They've, like I said, they've controlled the ball a little better than Carpentras, and it's very important in games like this. It's a very, very warm day, and I should imagine there'll be plenty of water on the sidelines, and the buckets will be out.
That first tackle missed as Keyville drives in. And Sagrove. Well, if Avignon get another try now, it's going to make Carpentras' task very much the harder. They've gone into their shell, Carpentras, now. They were showing a lot of spirit midway through the first half. Now it's Avignon bossing it.
Yes, I think Avignon will be a little bit disappointed there. Knock on when attacking and right on the Carpentras line. And they'll be a little bit disappointed that they didn't control the ball for the 6 tackles.
Michel Geziek coming down hard on every offence. He's given quite a lot of penalties in the first half. That's for a smack in the nose, I think. Well,
what he's saying is keep the tackles down. The 1 or 2 of the tackles are a little bit high, and you've got to keep them you're just below the shoulders.
I think with 2 balls on the field too. Or is that a bag of chips or something? Oh, that's a nice break by Maguire.
Maguire looks as though he's had a perm. Last year
he had tremendous long hair last year.
Yeah, she had the ponytail last year.
Oh, and the punches were going in there. Now it's Carpentras showing much more spirit. A drive through Roux. Oh, that's a nice move, but careless handling, really. I mean, it's a very intricate move, but he didn't get it right.
Well, it probably looked good in training. And again, we have another penalty for the tackle above the shoulders. And like I say, the referee certainly having no nonsense. Anybody above that is a penalty.
Well, one of those sage and so salty. All he needs is a bag of onions, and he's the absolute stereotype of Frenchman, isn't he, really?
Well, I think what he's trying to do is say, well, you know, I can't understand where all the penalties are coming from, because he's not seen a bad tackle yet.
Those little lads are enjoying themselves. One of them got pushed out of the way for his pains. Whoops. Well, that's unorthodox, but it worked. That was Keyville. Tamgar, the hooker. Roux.
And I think we have another penalty for pushing the man off the play of the ball, but surely it's a little bit scrappy at the moment.
Well, Michel Geziek is perhaps giving too many penalties. I mean, he's there to obey the laws, he's there to apply them, but he's not playing advantage at all.
No, but this is a good attacking provision for Carpentras.
Oh, what good running, what marvellous running that was by Tita, the international prop. Another man who's changed clubs to good effect. And it's close to line. Oh, what a lovely pass. He wasn't held. A super try. What a glorious pass out of the tackle by Cicitano to make that. That's a magnificent try. And it levels at 6-all.
Well, I think that was just the try that Carpentras needed. It was.
Just watch this pass, Alec, from Cicitano.
Well,
he goes down.
He's not quite on the ground, and it's good support play. And Carpentras, like I said, these tries have got to be scored. 1 or 2 of the Avignon players on top of him, but he gets the ball down well.
6-all. Simple enough kick, and that's 8-6. Well, that's Carpentras' best effort for some time, and it produced a try, but great stuff by Cicitano. And you're absolutely right, Alec. John Maguire's had a natty haircut.
Yes, he has. He looks to me as though he's said, well, it's going to be a very, very warm season, so give me a proper haircut to go with it.
Bonadell, and the Avignon defence beginning to show gaps. Look at that. Oh, no gap there. Tremendous tackle by Bidon.
Yes, and I think he felt that one. That was a tremendous tackle because that looked a try all the way.
Oh, look at this. No tackling there. Tremendous running by Roux. Roux, a terrific effort.
Yes, and doesn't he like that? And, you know, this time of the season, the tackling was a little bit poor, but Roux took his chance well, and he strides out. Big lad this, and once he pushes them big, strong lads out, there's nobody going to get to him, and he'll tell you when he puts the ball what he thinks of his try. He's even time to look at the spectators. Good try.
Nice effort to get back by Rare, but too big a start by the big forward. Yes!
Yes, well, I can do it, and that's a great.
I miss this time. Maguire misses.
I think Maguire is also playing in number 4.
Yes, indeed. It's the centres have switched. They've got the English disease.
Yes, what they
here
do
in France.
In France, it doesn't seem to matter. In anywhere else, you get fined for that. You must play the same numbers and put them on the team sheet before you go out. But in France, I suppose they've not got around to that yet.
Now it's Avignon coming back. It still happens occasionally in England. Alec, I can tell you that 11 and 12 and 3 and 4, sometimes even the wingers. Now here come Avignon fighting back. They trail by 12 points to 6. Yet another penalty.
And a penalty for holding down again. And this is the new rule what's been brought in. It's a good rule, and if it's applied well, and obviously this referee has got it right, you must let the player up off the floor to play the ball. That's to get the ball out wider, and if everybody does it, it's a good law.
A chance for Boutignon to bang over this penalty and make it 12-8.
I think Avignon will be a little bit disappointed. I mean, I know they've got a goal kick, but I think they did fancy the chances of scoring then, and I think they'd rather have the 6 points than just 2 if he kicked this goal.
Yeah, it was a difficult decision whether to run it when you're so close. Well, it's a simple enough 2 points, and early doors, half an hour into the first half. Carpentras 12, Avignon 8.
An early season tackling. The tackling is not got any ferocity into the tackling. It's you can tell it's a nice summer's day, and I think and there is a drastic mistake. Just put his leg over the ball, and I don't think he'll be too happy about that, because that now is a drop out from in front of the post, and no wonder he's saying, well, I've seen enough of this, and I think he's going to the bar.
No, he's probably going for a pie or whatever the equivalent is over here.
Well, I think it's too hot for pies, Keith, in this weather. I was, you know, more like a pint.
There's the dropout. Rare, the man who made the mistake. Now Carpentras leading 12-8, looking for a try to stretch their lead just before half-time. Well, that is the familiar figure of Maguire. That's McTighe. Strong attack by Carpentras. Backed by this excellent crowd. Again, it's Chitano who starts the move, but the chance is lost. It put Speed under pressure, but a let off.
Well, I think that was bad play. He must play the advantage, surely, because there was no advantage to Carpentras then, and Avignon just picked the ball up behind the line, and rightly so, he's given the scrum and the advantage. Which
enables Di Macedo to come away well and slip through several tackles. Good clearing on that.
Yeah, I think both sides now are getting into the feel of the game. You know, it's early season form in France, and you've got to give them time to settle down, and it's a very, very warm day indeed.
Avignon moving it now, but Carpentras red jerseys up very, very quickly. 12-8 to Carpentras. And a reminder on this first Rugby League Juarez presentation from France that this season we have a new championship system, a first division of 12 sides, and at the end of the season a top 6 playoff. And I would imagine that Carpentras might, on the evidence of last season and this season, have higher hopes of making the top 6 than Avignon, Alec.
Yes, I think both sides were very, very disappointed last year, and Carpentras, like I say, need to get that early start. They need they look as though they're the top of the ground side. They're not a big side, and obviously the longer the ground stays dry, the better it'll be for Carpentras.
Valeroy was the man who put the kicking to touch. The hard-working Keyville made the initial break. Now the forward's working really hard. The experienced Butignol. Behind him, the hooker, Guidicelli. That's a drive for the post. Is he over? Yes!
That's a very, very good try.
Jouffret, that's Francois Jouffret.
And that was a good try. Lovely inside ball, and Jouffret took the ball well, and that's a lovely place to score the try. He ran onto the ball well. He needed some scoring. He had one or two players hanging around his legs, and Jouffret did exceptionally well to put the ball down.
And of course, the simplest of conversions in theory, and it would put Avignon ahead.
Well, you can see how Jouffret bursts onto the ball. He doesn't look as though anybody's going to stop him. It's a big, strong lad, and there's one or two little halfbacks there, and he'd no chance whatsoever. Good try.
Over it goes, and that's Avignon in the lead.
And again, Keith, how do you like the electronic scoreboard? It looks as though they brought it back this year. They've had it put under the stand this year, so it might keep them a little bit drier than what they did last year.
Carpentras stung by that. They've lost possession. Now, will the referee give a penalty? I think he will.
I think he'll not miss that. He's not missed anymore, and he just said, I'm watching everything that's going on.
Oh.
And he's also...
Bit of gap.
yeah, keep it quiet. He's a very, very strict man, this referee, and I've advised most people to be quiet.
That's a belting kick too. So Carpentras, after falling behind 14-12, great opportunity, and that was a poor tackle that just slid off him.
I think it's like tit for tat. You score one and we'll score another, but both sides don't look as though they're the best tackling sides in the world.
And when they come up against the top sides, they'll be in serious trouble.
Well, I think the coach will realise that they can't survive with this kind of performance.
That's Tamkar. Now then, is it going to be a try near the post? Surely, no, he can't get it away. He's a metre short. But this is tremendous stuff. Close to the line, trying to out. There's Maguire. Guston. Again, the tackling holds, but just now, will he get the try?
Well, it looks like he scored the try, and the referee's on the spot, so it looked as though the ball just rolled at the side.
Well, how was he allowed to get that ball out of the tackle? He seemed to be smothered.
Well, like I say, it was.
Now, there's the tackle. He's going down. Now, how did he get it out?
Well, I think he just dropped it on the
dropped
floor. I think he might be a rugby union forward. He might be a convert from rugby union, but it's good play by Carpentras. They supported the man with the ball, and Mr. Maguire has no problem with the conversion.
Guston, the try scorer. Maguire cracking it over. And Carpentras back in front.
Yes, and even the scoreboard attendance is giving him a little bit of a clap. I think he might be a little bit pleased that Carpentras have just gone in front.
Well, we've had quite a spate of scoring in these closing minutes before half-time. And Carpentras hungry for more. Not seen much of Kaminski. One of his few passes.
I think we'll see that one or two of these players will take a few weeks to get into the season. And there's another penalty. He played the ball with a man. You can't play the ball when there's a man standing in front of you. You must play the ball back, and obviously it's worth a try, but when you get caught, it's very dangerous.
And it relieves the pressure for Avignon. As you say, it's been very much tit for tat. It's 2-all, 6-2 to Avignon, 8-6 to Carpentras, and so on. At the moment, it's 18-14 to Carpentras.
And I think the spectators are enjoying it because there's a lot of good football. They're keeping the ball alive. The tackling is not the best in the world, but having said that, the points are coming on the board.
Yet again, play breaks down. Knock on, and head and ball to Carpentras. Baking hot afternoon at Carpentras, but of course in the south of France they're used to this sort of weather. The players should be used to it.
Yes, I think they're used to it on the beach, Keith, but I don't think they're used to it when they're playing the rugby.
That's one against the head for Demercedo. Guidicelli, the hooker. Now, can Avignon get right back into it? They're just 5 meters away. Oh, dear me, he wasn't the best of passes, but Christoph should have taken that.
Well, I think really the ball should have gone along the line, and he's a little bit annoyed, and because of being annoyed, he's obviously not too happy that he dropped the ball, and I think that's just a little bit of tension. He's disappointed he didn't take the ball, and as you can see, just let 1 or 2 punches blow, and that's the first punch-up of the year in the French rugby.
Well, we waited a long time for it, actually. Normally the Gallic excitability explodes before this.
Well, he's not too happy, you can see with the tackle, and he certainly makes him know that he's going to tackle him. He's dropped the ball, and he looks like he's going to try and pile drive him through the ground, and then, as you know, in France, they just run in, they help the mates, and that's the end result. He's all right.
Coming up to the close of the first half, Carpentras leading 18 points to 14, looking for another score just on the stroke of half-time. And that's it. At half-time then, in a nip-and-tuck tit-for-tat game where the leaders constantly change hands, Carpentras going front, 18-14. Welcome back to the Stadium of the Rosary at Carpentras. That's the half-time score, just a reminder. Well, is it going to be as exciting in the second half? I'll tell you what, Alec, it's extremely warm. You went to check the temperature at half-time. What was it?
Well, coming out of the dressing room, it's 106, it's 38. So you can tell, you can understand now why 1 or 2 of these lads are missing tattles. It's really, really warm. It's a lovely summer's day, and it's bikini weather.
I must admit it was a scorcher. I hadn't realised it was 38 or 106 if you're in Fahrenheit terms. Carpentras, good kick.
There seems to be many people coming out of the bar now. I don't know whether that's a fact of the hot weather, or maybe they sell good wine here or good beer here, but it's very, very warm indeed.
I was having a chat with one of the Carpentras officials. The attendance is just under 2,000, which they say is a bit disappointing because they think they've got at least 1,000 more. Had it not been for the heat, it's taken a lot of people away to the coast and out with the family.
Yes, I think a lot of people are on the beach, and that's the best place to be this weather.
Certainly, I think these lads will think so.
I think this is the easiest way to lose weight in these conditions. It's, I think there'll be plenty of minerals and water drunk.
That's rare. Avignon. Avignon trailing 18-14. Hoisting the big kick. Good one too. Oh, it bounced the right way for... Oh, what an incredible break. What a bounce. A tie. That really was unlucky for Avignon. It came straight back into the arms of Shishitano.
But it just shows you the ground is very, very firm, and the ball never sure which way it's going to bounce, and really Carpentras almost scored off a kick.
That was Gusto almost going in for his second try. Got one in the first half.
I think the magic sponge is going to come out here, and I think he'll be a little bit refreshing with that cold sponge. I think it'll get to parts that other parts can't get to. I think this will do the trick. It was a pretty hard tackle. If it was a lovely release the ball out here, and to keep the ball alive, McTeague lets the ball go, and as he's going down, releases the ball. He just kind of slips out. Now I don't know whether he's got winded or what, but he trying to tackle McTeague. I think he kind of got a knock, but he'll be all right. I think the sponge is doing its job.
That's Rouquier, the man who's down. The pack forming. Michel Geziek saying, wait until recovery. And it's Comrade de Macedo that moves it out. Oh, that's a nice run. The cover was ready to make the tackle. 18-14 to Carpentras in this new French Division 1 of 12 teams. Beautifully released by Keyville, but a forward pass.
Yes, I think what you've got to say is that Avignon and Carpentras are both keeping the ball alive. They realise that it's the weather not to be bulldozing down the middle, so both sides are turning the ball back inside, and there's some good football being played.
Well, it's Chicitano didn't have too many options. Did manage to get it out to Maguire. No longer with the pigtail. Prefer him without the pigtail too.
Well, he looks more like a football player, especially a rugby player, because when they have those ponytails, I think they could be very, very dangerous, especially in rugby league.
Solid tackle. You probably heard that on the effects mic. Strong play by the Avignon forwards. And the ever-willing Keyville. They're making ground. They've gone something like 50 metres in 3 or 4 drives. That was Vignasul. Now the kick. They got a bad bounce last time. Oh, that was a bad knock on. He took his eye off the ball. That was Kaminski.
And I think again the eye kick is causing problems for both sides, because every time it must be very, very sunny out there, and it's strong in the players' eyes, and I think a lot of players are having problems fielding the ball.
Possession, and it's Francois Jouffret who made the initial break, who scored an excellent try in the first half with sheer power. Avignon trying to pull back. They're only 4 points behind. They're moving it well. That's scrum half de Macedo. Chiron, he got a try in the first half. He's a strong runner. Avignon holding the ball well. It's Christophe Jouffret. I think that one was well watched. I think that move was pretty obvious.
Yes, I think Avignon are dab hands at bringing the ball back inside. I think they'll be advised to move the ball out wide. There's plenty of gaps wide out.
I think Jouffret was offside. I think he's given the offside. He certainly was well offside. Not necessarily Chiron, but certainly Christophe Jouffret. Look at this. And I think you'll see how number 4 gets well in front.
Well, it's a lovely little chip. There's nothing wrong with the chip, but if you see number 4, he is well offside. And he's the man, he doesn't take the ball, but it's debatable whether...
I'd be inclined to think that the presence of Jouffret there was regarded by the referee as putting off the defender.
It was interference, I think, and the referee gave it on that. But very unlucky then, Avignon, not to score a try.
So the Carpentras lead of 18-14 remains.
Oh, I think Mr. Maguire will not be too happy about that one. No wonder he's saying it hit his bootlaces. It was a terrible ball, inside ball, and they always say never ever throw the ball on the ground, and especially when you're not facing the right way. And Maguire, I think he'll not be too pleased about that.
Well, he's a man of experience. He's a strong loose forward, the other Jouffret, Francois. Oh, that was a nice exchange. Chiron. Oh, my word. I would say a boot went in there, but...
Well, the touch judge, you look at the man at the side, there's one of the trainers there, he's having a word with the touch judge, and he's saying, did you not see that? And, that was a little bit high. He's seen that one.
That's 2 fouls in a row.
Well, he must have seen that one. He's on with his flag, and there's no doubt about it. This can cause a lot of bother. This was the first incident. It looked as though he did try to trip him. I don't think it was... they did that deliberately, but the second one was high tackle, and he did catch that one. He's got 10 minutes in the sin bin.
And number 14, Toulemont. Let's come on.
Well, it's a nice sunny day, so he can have a pleasant 10 minutes on the bench.
Toulemont, interesting French name, Malik. Literally everybody. He's going to have to be here, there, and everywhere.
Yes, he might be getting a little bit of a flea in his ear from his coach, because to leave him with 12 men in these conditions could be very costly.
But the penalty against 12 men. Now can Avenue fight back, get in front, take advantage? They're very close to the line. Oh, dear me, well, that's half a dozen knock-ons and a header.
Well, I think it was a question of who wanted the ball, and it'd be interesting to see which way the referee gives the decision. Surely it must go to Carpentras, because this was you have it, no, I don't want it, go on, you have a go, no. And in the end, I think the referee was glad to blow the whistle.
Indeed, he went to Carpentras, picked up at the back of the scrum by Tisser.
It's a nice little break by Tisser. He quite likes that. He had a little smile on his face, and it was quite a good break.
Carried on by Rocci. Chitano moving it out. Carpentras looked a bit shaky in these opening minutes of the second half, but they're coming into it now. Tamga. Well, he held that up well, held it a long time too.
I think that's what they call Plan B. Now, that was a goal, but not in rugby league. It's been one of them where I think it was a little bit of panic set in, and I think keeping the ball alive would have been a better option.
Well, Toulemont, youngster, only 19 years old. Big lad. Restart from the 22 from that attempted drop goal by Tisser. Keyville getting through a lot of work.
Yes, and I think the next score could be very, very important in this game, because I think the conditions is taking effect on one or two of these players.
That was enterprising. What a tremendous kick ahead that was by Rare. What a try. What an amazing try. He wasn't on. He dropped the ball. He kicked it again and got there first.
Well, you've just said about Rare, he's a big lad, and you've just kind of given the introduction he needed. I think they've been watching the football. This is a well-controlled dribble, what they'd say in soccer. It's a lovely little punt on, and he had a fortunate bounce, but he was there to gather it, and this is the important bounce. He's never took his eye off the ball. It bounces up for him. He takes it well. Now, he looks as though he's not going to make it, but he's not run so far for nothing, and Rare does well to score.
Well, that was a try out of nothing. Well, this time Rukier trying to kick, an awful kick.
Well, I think what they're saying, these two, that we don't want to go in front with too many. We'll keep the game, and we don't want to confuse the electronic scoreboard there. We've got it working again. The fella's not too quick with the figures.
He's short with the 8s, I think. He's found one.
Well, you realise now.
Look at that. Ah, they've got the right height. The can's nearly bigger than they are.
Yes, well, the chocolate biscuit was more enjoyable, I would think.
Toulemont as Avignon, having scored that try and level at 18, have got the bit between the teeth well and truly now.
I think the difference, Keith, obviously, is the extra man. They can make it use. 10 minutes is a long time, especially in these conditions.
Yes, strength sapping heat. Carpentras down to 12 men. There's a drop goal attempt. Charge down, that'll be 6 more. Rare. Yes, Michel Legeziec wiping the windows clean in the background. Good spell by Avignon this time. They've got 1 try, while Carpentras down to 12. No, Giuffre was looking for support then. I
do think they'd be better in using the ball out wider, because there's plenty gaps. There must be gaps out wide. 1 man short, and surely there's gaps wide out.
Another attempted to drop. No doubt about that one. So, Avignon sneak into the lead.
Well, I think what they're trying to say is 1 point's as important as any at this time of the game, and just to let us know that they can drop a goal. It's not a very pretty attempt. It goes over really like a bag of bolts, but it counts. It's on the scoreboard. 1918.
Balleroy, a drop goal. Well, will that sting Carpenter into action? Back at full strength. But Avignon still slamming forward to Le Monde, and it goes out of his grasp. The referee, and now was a punch delivered then. Now, come on, stop play acting, said the
Well,
referee.
I think the referee was right on top of that, and he did see what happened, and he just said, come on, get up. There's nothing wrong with the tackle.
Well, that was a clever pick-up by McTighe, a risky one, though. He scooped it up.
Well, he picked that ball up like Brian McTighe, and he certainly got that a good pair of hands.
But Carpentras inside their own 22-metre area. Too well to get out. They trail by 1918, and that's really roused the home crowd. They're trying to stir their side into action now. That ball was from Maguire, and a return ball. Had to stoop for it.
Yes, and I think Maguire is one of those players who keeps the ball alive, and they're going to have to rely on Maguire, Avignon, because they're not playing too well at the moment, and there's a very, very bad kick, ball back on the full, and it's cost them literally 60 yards.
Yes, the ball flying into touch on the full, didn't bounce, so players returned to the point where the ball was kicked.
I would think Carpentras would be obviously start favourites in this game, I think, at home, and the new players like Maguire bringing a little bit more professional attitude to the side. Surely I think they'd want to win this game.
That's the lanky Toulemont and Avignon. Now they've got in front, playing with confidence. Seeing very little of Carpentras in this second half. Well, an appeal that the ball had been lost. The referee will hear. Toulemont getting very involved. He was a good substitution.
Yes, he looks as though, like you say, he was a big lad, and he seems to just glide round tackles.
Richaud is also on, the second sub being used by Avignon. They lead 1918, looking for another drop goal.
And it's there. No, he's missed that one. That was a simple drop goal. It would have put him 2 points in front, and like I say, in these conditions, every point counts.
So still the 1 point in it, 1918. So Carpentras can pull it back, but they've got to put a few passes together.
I think they're finding it very difficult getting out of their own 25. They're really struggling, and they're not putting too many passes together.
It's been very ragged. Carpentras, said the crowd. Carpentras, will that stir them?
I think that's the first time the crowd really have got behind Carpentras, but it's really, really warm here. And that will be a penalty. Mr. Maguire will not appreciate that, but he should know the rules better than anybody else. He's got the penalty. I don't know how he's got the penalty.
Well, unless he caught them offside by playing it quickly, Alec, but it's confusing law.
Well, I think he said the man wasn't standing in front of him. So Avignon very fortunate.
Yes, because Maguire's attitude first was that he thought he was going to be penalised. That's another one for not letting him play the ball.
And this is also...
Oh, a headbutt. And it's a red card for the headbutt. Oh, dear. So, Monsieur Jouffret, Francois Jouffret, goes off. Well, did you see that, Alec?
Well, I think he did. He had the ball, and obviously be very, very disappointed there. Carpentras player was... it's one of those things where he's going into tackle. Now, watch his head. This is the important part here. I don't know.
Oh,
yes,
yes,
he
in
did.
fact,
Yes,
Jouffret is the man who got it on the cheekbone.
Yes.
It is, in fact, Roux who got marching orders.
Well, I think Roux will be that could be a very, very costly headbutt, and referee right on the spot, and right decision given.
So, Carpentras permanently down to 12 men for the remainder of this game. They were down to 12 with the sin binning. Now, Roux has paid the price of a quite deliberate headbutt right in front of the referee.
And I think with 12 men now, that Carpentras has got to keep the ball alive. They must move the ball. Surely they can't hope to go up the middle, and if they think they're going to win this game, they've got to move it out wide.
Oh, that's a nice little break. May have lost possession. No, he held on. Lovely little break by Rocci. Romano. I haven't seen much of him in this game, Romano. He's now stirring himself. Well, as it so often happens, a side reduced to 12 men, they start to play above themselves. Guston. Just a 1-point lead at the moment for Avignon at 19-18. He's going to try drop.
I think the crowd will tell you that that's a miss. I would think that Carpentras will be better just keeping this ball alive, and I'm very, very surprised that Mr. Maguire is not bringing the old influence on this game, because he's a very experienced player and he doesn't seem to be in the game too much.
Avignon have had most of the possession in the second half, which has tended to handicap Carpentras, but they've not shown the fluency in attack they showed in the first half.
It's one-man football. There's not much support, and the man who's running with the ball is certainly not looking for anybody with him.
And that's a charge down. Well, a great effort by Tisser. Knock on inevitably given.
But again, Avignon possession and another 6 tackles, and in these conditions, the team who hold the ball will surely win the match.
It's a funny looking scrum with a player on his hands and knees there. That's one against the head. That's Rocci. Well, Carpentras showing more fight and spirit down to 12 than they did with 13. And Guston.
Yes, and that was a good tackle, and Guston almost got in at the corner. Good cover tackle.
Hurt in the process.
And also, he's knocked the effects mic over there. If you listen what the clatter is, it's not the player's ribs, it's the effects mic.
Ooh.
I think he might have caught himself on the wire. That's a very, very dangerous thing to have on the touchline.
Yes, it's sheer on the man who was hurt. He's all right again now. Fed by De Macedo. Runs into trouble in the shape of Rouquier. Oh, well done, Rouquier. That was clever. Well, you don't often see the defending acting halfback winning the ball. He did well, and this could be a try. What a good dummy. No, he's a metre short. That's typical Maguire. But dangerous stuff, this by Carpentras. Well, trying to drive over.
Well, surely they must move the ball out wide. There must be plenty spaces out wide.
Well, they heard you. It's giving the cameraman problems too. Can Guston make it this time? Yes. Good try, Alec.
He's not give it. He's been tackled into touch. Yeah, the touch stood right on the spot.
There's an argument and a row, a discussion.
I think you'll find out that he just dragged his feet. This is good cover tackling. It looked to all the world as though he'd scored. The home fans are not very, very happy about this. He can run a bit, but just watch where his feet go. He just trails him in. He does get the ball over, but his feet's in touch.
Yes. Well, the feet are in touch look to me like the defenders, but the touch judge is a lot nearer than we are. Bad luck that, because when they did move it wide, it looked a good try.
Well, that's the way to play the game. Move the ball out wide, and every time they've done it, it looked like they'd scored.
Well, this is another chance for Carpentras. They've got a penalty. The crowd getting really wild now. They want their 12-man side with Roux sent off to win this. They're only a point behind. Are they going to run it or take the penalty?
Well, I think they've got to capitalise on this. They must take a tap, surely. You know, it's very, very... They've crossed the line once.
And I suppose they could always go for a drop on the 6th if the worst came to the worst. Desperate defending now by Avignon. Nice little wriggle by Rocci.
I think what they've not got to do is to play one-man rugby. They must move the ball out.
Well, I'm afraid they're keeping it tight. Everybody's driving towards the posts.
Well, I think everybody wants his name in the paper tomorrow. I think...
Oh, a gap. I think he's done it. Big second row forward, Romano.
Yes, and he did well to score that, Romano, and Carpentras players very, very happy, and now the supporters happy.
Oh, they loved it.
He took some scoring. He looked as though he took the wrong option.
The gap opened up for him, though,
yes,
Alec.
And the one or two players, I really think that try should have been stopped, but He does well, Romano, to score it and just stretches out, and that's a very important score.
Yes, Romano very quiet in the first half, but he's come into it in the second. Maguire makes sure, so 12-man Carpentras lead by 24-19.
And I think that was surely unexpected. Maguire, a correct kicker, kicks the ball the correct way and has no difficulty with a simple shot.
And how often do we see this, Alec, that a side playing badly, in rags and tattered, reduced to 12 men, suddenly find their game?
Well, a lot of people say that when a man is sent off, that his other colleagues give that little bit extra effort which they've not been given, and certainly as far as Carpentras is concerned, they're doing just that, and that was a try against the run of play, really.
And the opposite number 11, Vignasul, is taken off. So it's suddenly gone sour for Avignon. When they were leading 19-18 and Roux was sent off, it looked as if Avignon were going to take the points away. But now, with just less than 5 minutes left, they're in trouble at 24-19. I don't think Carpentras will do anything stupid at this stage.
And I think also that one of the differences in this half, that Carpentras have held the ball a little bit better, and Avignon has not had as much possession as what they had in the first half.
This is a time when 1 or 2-man rugby is perfectly justified. It's eating up time, it's eating up meters too. Now they're throwing it. Tisser's had a great game in this second half, really international. And Guston's got a clean pair of heels and not knocked down.
The whistle's gone, I think. Again, it looks like the 6th tackle.
And over. Avignon desperate to get the ball back to the other end.
And surely Avignon, if they want to win this game, they've got to move the ball out.
Keeville's had a storming game, but that was a loose pass. 24-19 to Carpentras, the closing minutes of the game. They've done well to come back. Where did he come from? Oh, was that head high? He's making the most of it.
Well, I think the referee, I think that was a sheer accident. I think the scrum half came inside and there's nothing wrong with him. I think we see here now, he just comes inside, the man was committed. It looked worse than what it was actually, and I think the scrum half, being a good scrum half, made the most of it.
The voice of experience, Ali, in Maguire.
See, and that's where a little bit of experience tells. Maguire knows the seconds are ticking away, and he's played in these kind of games before. He's played in the big league, and he knows as long as that Avignon are down here, they're going to find it very difficult to score.
Yes, ever since Roux went for the early bath, Carpentras fought hard to cover his absence so well they've dominated the game. They lead 24-19. That's it. Well, that final try by Romano for 12-man Carpentras means that this basically young side with the added experience of such as Maguire and Tisser has done it. Sporting handshakes from Avignon, but they must be disappointed. So, welcome back to Screen Sport Rugby League. Final score 24-19 to Carpentras.